Hello friends, welcome back to Elise Reads and Speaks. Today I am bringing you my August wrap-up. I had a really good reading month for the month of August. I read 18 books, which is great for me. I'm sure that I owe that to the Tropical Readathon because I was trying to get all those prompts done. I don't think I got all of them done because I read some of the other team books and missed some of my prompts, but still, I think 18 is really good. All right, so let's just start with what I read at the beginning of the month. I was finishing up something that I had started in July. This was The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's one of those that, like, if it had some bit of closure on some things that I had questions on, like it could have got to a 5-star because I was totally into it. But because I'm nitpicky and I didn't like that I didn't have closure on something, so I gave it 4 stars. I will say, like, for my people that watch my channel that went to high school with me, this takes place in Orange County. And for my people that did not go to high school with me, I am not talking about California. I am talking about New York. So they mentioned Orange County Community College, a couple times. And I know that that is, like, not the name of it anymore. It's now called SUNY Orange. But I don't know if people that live there actually call it SUNY Orange or if they still refer to it as OC. I don't know. And they mentioned OC in the book. So I was like, Is it relevant? Like, I don't know. Okay, but anyway, I digress. That's not even like what the story is about. I will say that there are trigger warnings in this story. I remember there was statutory rape, pedophilia, abortion. There was some abuse going on. Like, it has all the things. So like, trigger warnings for sure. If that's something that you're not cool with, don't pick up this book. But for those of you like me that don't really have a problem with those issues, this was a compelling mystery, and I liked how everything tied together at the end. Like, it didn't go where I thought it was gonna go, and it did keep me on my toes, and I really enjoyed it. I think I would read from this author again. Next, I read Influence by Sarah Shepard and Lilia Buckingham. I am surprised. I gave this one 3 stars. Honestly, it's probably less than 3 stars, maybe like a 2.5 that I rounded up to 3 because I could not get into this one, which is surprising because Sarah Shepard is the author of Pretty Little Liars and The Lion Game. Now, those ones aren't works of art or anything like that, but they did pull me in, and I could tell everyone apart, and I was into those books, you know? And this one I had a really difficult time telling the girls apart. Like, I was just referring to them as different things in my head, like the dead one, the famous one, the gay one, the newer one. Was there 4 or 5? I don't even remember. I don't even remember if there were like 4 or 5 main girls, and I do not remember their names at all. I will say that I did want to know what happened to the one that died. Like, I wanted to know who was to blame for that. So, I mean, that's probably why I bumped it to a 3, because I was interested as far as that goes. But the book itself, it just, it's a bummer. It fell flat. Next, I read my e-arc of Heart of Snow by Catherine Buell. Unfortunately, I gave this one 2 stars. It is a Snow White retelling, and it's not really a retelling. Like, it's like loosely Snow White-ish and takes it in a different fashion, which I was into because it was almost like a mystery in this way. The evil queen in here, she finds the girls in her kingdom or whatever that have some magic within them, and she takes them and she's gonna mentor them, but you know that she's the evil queen, so she's not really gonna mentor them. She's gonna do something in order to take their magic. So the Snow White character in here is trying to figure out what's actually happening and how she can save these girls. But then the story really veers off, and I just didn't care, and I was waiting for it to be over. Like, I was very bored with Snow White and the huntsman character, and I was like, this one had such potential to be something great, and for over half of it, I was waiting for it to be over. I can't give it 1 star because I do think that the premise was cool, and I was interested for part of it, so to me that's not like a 1 star, but it's like a firm 2 stars. Then I listened to the audiobook of The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune. Now, recently I read The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I enjoyed it. I wasn't wowed by it, but I thought it was cute. And I was like, okay, let me try something else of his. Surprisingly, I actually enjoyed this one more. I gave this one 4 stars, and I say surprisingly because I'm not usually into, like, superhero type stories. Like, I read Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and that one was okay for me. The epilogue in the 3rd book of Renegades was fantastic. Just saying, okay? But just in general, like the superhero-esqueness doesn't usually pull me in. However, I really like the Extraordinaries because it wasn't just about superheroes. It was about this boy finding out that he's in love with other boys or attracted to other boys, and him finding out the identity of the superheroes in his world. Like, he somewhat knows them because they refer to him by name, and he gets the impression that he must know them from somewhere else, and you kind of know who they are going into it. But it was cute. It was cute. It was almost like a coming of age superhero story, and I was pleasantly surprised, so I gave it 4 stars. Then I read my Arc of Fae Away by Rose Garcia, and I gave this one 4 stars too. This is probably more of like a 3.5 rounded up, because I just don't hold it to the same caliber as my 4 stars, but still, I enjoyed my time, so I'll stick with 4 stars for now. This one is about a fairy that falls in love with a human, and she escapes to the human world and uses him almost as a protector because something is happening in her fairy world. And she also finds out that her family is not as good and as strong as, well, I guess they are strong, but they're not as good as she had this opinion of them. She finds out that these like renegade fays that live in the human world actually are against her family, and she learns more about why that is. And I will read the next one here, and I just want to point out that the main character's name is Celise, like it's my name, with a C in the beginning. So I felt like I was reading about myself the whole time, which is probably why I knocked it up to 4 stars, but I'm not gonna apologize for that. Then I listened to the audiobook of Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. I gave this one 3 stars, and as I am talking about this was a very good rating for me because I don't remember much about it, and I have found that when I rate things 2 to 3 stars, I usually don't remember much about the book. I do remember that I liked some of the circus themes in here, and I was like interested as far as her budding relationship with whoever. But that's what I mean, like whoever, like I can't remember their names, which is kind of a bummer because I do have the arc for the next book, which means that I'm gonna read it. I feel like I have to read it because NetGalley gave me the arc, but I'm not very excited about it. Oh no. Then I read my arc of The Shadow in the Glass by JJA Harwood, and this was a pleasant surprise for me. I gave this one 4 stars. This was a Cinderella retelling, but dark. Like it was dark. All right, trigger warnings in here for sexual abuse. There's abortion. There's something else in here that I can't, oh, alcoholism, that's in there too. So there's some darker elements in here. But I really enjoyed this one because it took a really dark turn. Like the fairy godmother bibbidi bobbidi boo character, no, she's not a fairy godmother. She's almost like a demon genie that can grant you wishes, but you know, all magic, all wishes come at a price. And each time that this Cinderella character would make a wish, somebody would lose their life. It could be somebody close to her. It could be, you know, Joe Schmo on the street or something like that. So she's battling with, you know, what's more important? Is somebody's life more important, or is the wish that I am making to make somebody's life better more important? So I like the personal struggle there. I will also say, and it really gave me Downton Abbey vibes. Now, Downton Abbey has no magic, okay, let's be clear, no magic. But just the setting and how they worked in this grand manner and how all the servants talked to one another, I don't know, it just gave me the Downton Abbey feels. And I felt myself sucked into this one. It took me a while to finish. I think it's only like 400 something pages long. It's not like the longest book I've ever read, but I just felt like it was heavy, that maybe it took me a longer time to process or something like that. But I really did enjoy it. Like, I think this was a solid 4-star read. Next, I listened to the audiobook of Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala, and this one was fun. Like, I feel like after this one, I am a convert for cozy mysteries. Like, this was a cozy food-themed mystery, and I was just sucked in. I was like so excited to listen to it. I mean, I seriously went out on my deck with a drink, popped in my audiobook, and just laid back. Like, I really enjoyed my time, that I am 100% gonna pick up some more cozy mysteries. If you're a cozy mystery reader, like, you know what you're going into. And this is somewhat new for me. Like, I've read mysteries before, but not ones that you just want to like settle down with a nice beer or a glass of wine or something like that. And it's not like life-shattering, you know, life-changing things that are happening in here, but it's just so much fun. And this is apparently the first in a series of Tita Rosie's. Is that what it is? Yes, Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mysteries. 100% will go on to the next one. Next, I read the next 2 books in Hitched by G.K. DeRosa. So that one is the top 10 and the final 5. Man, I love these. I love these so much. I'm not gonna apologize for it. Sometimes you just need something that makes you happy. I just know that I'm gonna read this series again and again and again. It's something that just lights up my life, all right? Just to recap, this is the Bachelorette series where there's supernatural suitors like gargoyles, vampires, dragons. There's an angel, there's even a demon like the son of Lucifer. Like, it's so much fun. And it's just like the Bachelorette, and she whittles them down. And that's not the only thing that happens too. Like there's also, I guess, a subplot of this world being revealed to humans. So there's like a supernatural assembly of leaders that are gonna get together and decide if this show should be aired in the human world and have their world revealed to outsiders. So there's something else going on because she keeps being put in these life-threatening situations, like someone is clearly trying to kill her and they can't figure out why. And then you realize that it's kind of like a struggle. Like, some people want this world to be revealed to the humans and other people are strongly opposed to it and will do anything in order for this show to be stopped. So there's a lot going on and I love it. I love it. 5 stars. Next, I listened to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I don't even know what number reread this is for me. I love this book, so clearly it's 5 stars. I will say that I've never listened to an audiobook of it before, so I did that this time around, and I had a great time. The audiobook narrator was Katherine Kellgren, and when I saw that she was narrating it, I had to listen to it. I'm gonna post a link below of a video that I did a very long time ago of audiobook narrators that you should listen to. So it's just a list of people that if I see that they are narrating a book that I'm somewhat interested in, I'm more apt to request it and listen to it because I know that these narrators are so good. Katherine Kellgren is one of those narrators. She did an excellent job. So if you want to listen to Pride and Prejudice, I highly recommend that version. Then I listened to the audiobook of XOXO by Axio. Wow, what a mouthful. So I expected to love this one because it deals with K-pop and just going to school to become a Korean idol. And I was a big NSYNC fan back in the day. You know, I'm gonna put that video below too. I have created an NSYNC book tag video. So if you're an NSYNC fan, you should go watch that video and then make your own so that I can watch it. Just side note. So the reason I said that I expected to love this one is because I am a boy band girl. However, there's a difference between boy band girls and K-pop. Like, I don't know what it is, but this one just did not speak to me like I expected it to. I did enjoy some things in here because I don't know much about K-pop and what you have to go to what you have to go through to become an idol. And I asked around, and apparently like this does exist. There are schools that prepare people to be idols and you really have to go through a lot of training and you're put into different groups based on what your talents are. Like, that's interesting. That other stuff was interesting to me. So I feel like I should have been more into the romance because this was a romance book and that's just not what was piquing my interest. So I gave it 3 stars. I will say it's like more memorable than my 3-star reads, but I still don't think it's a 3.5. I think this is a middle of the road 3-star for me. Then I listened to the audiobook of The Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. This audiobook was narrated by Dakota Fanning, and it also had a full cast because there are some different things in here that require a different voice. So I was excited for that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because I gave it 2 stars and I was so mind-numbingly bored. Like, it was so boring. I thought it started off well enough, and some of the jumps to other people on the full cast audio sucked me in because they kind of gave me the Illuminae audiobook feels. Like, if you've listened to the audiobooks of Illuminae, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like listening to a play in your head. It's awesome. And this audiobook had some of those features. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. But the main person was Dakota Fanning, and her voice was not good. The narration was not good. And I'm not just giving it 2 stars because of a narrator. I thought the story itself was really boring. I did not find Sloane to be a likable character. That's the main character in here. And I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into it at all. And it bums me out because, like, I love Divergent by Veronica Roth. And I'm wondering if that's where she peaked because I tried Carve the Mark, didn't like it. Tried this, didn't like it. Like, I almost don't want to pick up another book from her again because my expectations are so high from Divergent, and then I am just crashing and burning on her next ones. Then I read my arc of The Lost Language of Crazy by Pamela Laskin. Okay. I gave this one 2 stars. It was a book that was not for me. So I'm being very direct in saying that because this could very well be a book that is for other people. It deals heavily with mental health, mental wellness, deals a lot with schizophrenia. This girl thinks she might have schizophrenia because her mom had schizophrenia. Like, there's some heavy, interesting stuff in here. However, the book writing, it was so jumpy and choppy, and just the way that the transition was, and I felt like my mind just couldn't wrap around it, and it did not make for an enjoyable reading experience. The thing is, I think that might have been the point to represent somebody's mind with schizophrenia or suspected schizophrenia. Like, I don't know if I'm making that big a leap by saying that I think this could have been the author's intention. I don't know. I have no idea. All I will say is that I did not enjoy reading it. I was not having a good time. It felt like the writing was mediocre, like it was middle grade, so it was written down a bit, and then adding in the jumpy choppiness of it, I just didn't like it. And I struggle with this one because I really think that it could appeal to other people. So if this is something that might sound interesting to you, like, give it a shot, but I didn't like it. Then I listened to the audiobook of All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. This was fun. I gave this one 4 stars. This is my book club's pick for the month of September, and apparently we're all gonna be pretty split on it. I think there's like 2 of us so far that have enjoyed it, and I think there's like 3 that are like, what the hell is that? Luckily, I'm in the camp of people that enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time. Like, if you're not familiar with the premise of All Your Twisted Secrets, these kids in high school, there's 5 of them, they're put into a room, they're locked in a room, and they're told that they have to choose somebody to kill in order to get out of that room. If they don't choose one person to kill, then they're all gonna die. So it goes back and forth of them being in the room, and then also like the history of how they got to that point. I think from like 9 months to the present, and you kind of find out all the twisted secrets that each of them has, and you make your own opinions about who you think should bite the dust. And it went in a way that I didn't expect it to go. So like that pulled me in. I was like, okay, like I do like to be surprised. I gave this one 4 stars, man. Like, I had a good time. But you know what I didn't have a good time with? Strange Things Await by Jamila A. Stone. I wrote this in my Goodreads review. I think this might be one of the worst books I've ever read. Like, this is definitely a contender for the worst read of 2021, I'm telling you now. Like, I had high hopes because this takes place at a magical school. Magical school is my jam. Like, that is a trope that I love, okay? I'm all about it. But man, like, the jumping that would happen, I mean, I guess it took place over the entire school year. I think it was even like a span of years. I don't know. But you would read something on one page, and then on the next page, it would refer to that previous page as like being several months ago. And you're like, wait, what? And also, like, some weird things happen here. Like, these 2 girls are hooking up, and then one starts transforming into a werewolf because she wasn't paying attention to the moon. It was not good. It was not good. And there was also almost rape in here. Almost rape. I say that because, like, the rape didn't actually happen, but getting prepped up for the rape did happen. It was really, like, jarring and uncomfortable to read. I mean, I guess that's what you would expect, but also it's like, why was that necessary? I'm not going to spend any more time talking about this one. I absolutely hated this book. And the last book that I read in the month of August was The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. I could not get into this one either. I gave this one 2 stars because I think the writing was good enough. It did not pull me in. It did not pull me in. And plus I also think like I'm a little bit of a biased reader. It had to do with this school shooter, and I felt like they were trying to make you sympathize with the school shooter, and just for personal reasons, I have a problem with that. I happen to know somebody that died in a school shooting at Virginia Tech, so I'm not cool with that. I don't know if that was the intent of the author, but I felt like that was being pushed on me a little bit, that I was like, I think it's just a personal bias though, a personal bias of like that not being for me. And plus I live in North Carolina, and just this week we have dealt with 2 school shootings, like one in Wilmington and one right close to here. I live in Greensboro. It happened in Winston-Salem. So again, not a fun read for this time. I do think it had some interesting elements in it, but like it also things weren't explained. Like, why could Jake see ghosts? Where did that come from? Where did he get this power? Like, did somebody else in his family have it? Like, what was the point? I felt like things were not explained. I just wasn't into it. All right, so those are all the books that I read in the month of August, 18. And I did have a couple of 5 stars. Like, I knew Pride and Prejudice was gonna be 5 stars, but Hitched. I loved Hitched. Hitched is definitely gonna be one of my top series. It's so much fun. And I had some really decent 4-star reads in here too. So yes, I did have a 1 star, but like overall, I think August was a pretty good reading month for me. All right, well, that's all that I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to Elise Reads and Speaks, and I will catch you next time, guys. Bye.